Okay, welcome. If you're here right now in real time on the live or if you're on the recording. My hope for this practice is that I can give you some tools, whether you want to just replay the recording or take the tools and use them as needed throughout your life. So we're here for a little bit of stress relief. Who couldn't use some of that about now? If you didn't hear, I'm going to put it in the description too with the video. We're going to do a supported bridge at the end. So you're going to want some kind of block, bolster, a folded blanket works just as well if you don't have those things, and a little bit of a belt, a resistance band, a tie. And if you don't have anything like that available to you, the chicken wing thing will work totally fine. But let's find a very comfortable seat to start. So if you need to elevate your hips, again, I'm sitting on just a little bit of a lift here. So the shoulders can stack easily. They can roll down the back. We find a little lift through the crown of our head. It's a really short practice, so I'm going to take you right to the end. I'll quietly log off here on the live, and then if you have the luxury of more time, you're resting well, and you want to continue to do so, I won't interrupt you. But let's soften our gaze or close our eyes and just take a very short moment here to really settle in. And just give a little wiggle, a few little circles with the ribs. A turn of your head to find that sweet spot where you don't need to work to hold yourself upright. Setting your intention to stay with your breath and the sensation in your body. To allow energy, emotion, to arise as it will. So we hold our postures for longer periods of time. It's almost guaranteed to elicit some type of response. And then we have an opportunity to notice, to kind of override that compulsion to react. We can start, I'm going to cue it through. I'll do a round or two with a square breath, a four-sided breath. It's where the inhale, the exhale, and the pauses or the gaps between the breath are the same amount of time. I'm going to start with a 4-4 count. Of course, we want you to adjust that so that you are comfortable. Take a deep breath in and out, just natural, fill up all the way to the top of the inhale, and all the way to the bottom of the exhale. Inhale for 2, 3, 4, hold. 2, 3, 4, exhale. 2, 3, 4, pause. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, hold. 2, 3, 4, exhale. 2, 3, 4, pause. 2, 3, 4. Continuing on your own for a few cycles, a few rhythms. And a 4-4 is a nice round number to start. If you need to adjust that, it might be 3 counts, 5, 6, 7, upwards of 8. Doing your best to keep the inhale, the exhale, and the gaps the same amount of time. Aiming to make this your last cycle. There's no need to rush it or hurry it through. After the pause, after your next exhale, just allowing your breath to return to its natural, steady rhythm, releasing any control. Notice how you're feeling physically, mentally, energetically. That's a really nice pranayama to kind of end the busy day. To check in, to slow down, to fully arrive here in our body and on our mat. So if you're using a belt, go ahead and grab it. You can blink your eyes open if you haven't already. I would suggest that you start wider than your shoulders. Yeah. On the inhale, we'll come forward and up. And then on the exhale, you can come back and down any amount, trying to keep your elbows straight. Inhale to come back and up. Exhale, forward and down. So the wider your hands are, the less intense on your shoulders. And the closer your hands, the closer your grip or your stance, more tension. Yeah. And then doing your best to, for now, make this movement just about your shoulder. So many of us are gripping through our shoulders, big joints, they hold a lot of tension, so we'll just floss them. And then when you found that comfortable stance, and you've done it a few times, moving just from your shoulders, you can start to add in movement from your spine. As you come forward, you can tuck your chin and round. And then as you come up and back, you can lift your breastbone, lift your chin, and arch any amount. We'll take one more full cycle. No need to hurry anything through. The next time you come out front, just neutral spine, let the belt fall, roll your shoulders back and down. And then we'll close up our grip. Just a little bit wider than the shoulder is good. Inhale to come on up. And then exhale, we're gonna tip on over. And so just allow your head to follow the direction of your spine so it's not tipping too far down or closing up. And as much as I'm trying to pull my top arm up and over, my top arm's trying to pull my bottom arm back. Awesome. Inhale, come through center. And then exhale, we'll just tip on over to the second side. So the hips are really anchored and heavy. We're reaching up and away with equal tension in our arms. Inhale through center. Exhale to release your belt. You can just toss it off to the side out of your way. If you're sitting cross-legged or one ankle out in front like I am, let's go ahead and switch. Good, settle back in. Inhale, that rebounds, tall spine. Exhale, find a gentle twist. So we're gonna twist the line of our navel, up around the ribs, the collarbones, the head comes around last. Top half of your next exhale will unravel from the head back down. Take a full inhale when you get to center, lengthen. And then exhale, generate a little bit of twist from the line of your belly, working up the spine, the line of the ribs, the shoulders, neck, maybe your head. Top half of your exhale will unravel. Lean back into your hands a little bit. Bring your feet out. A little wider than the shoulders is fine. And then you can play with where you want your hands. So you might have your fingers all the way turned back. Check in with your wrists, your elbows. Squeeze your shoulders back, puff up your chest, and then we'll find a little bit of windshield wiping with our knees. Maybe a little bit of Rice Krispies. And so we're not trying to push our knees down to the floor. Just taking one thigh internally and one thigh externally rotating, turning in the hip joint. So we're warmed up a little bit before we find our first long hold. Once you're equal from side to side, we'll come through center. Walk your legs close together, bottoms of the feet join, and we find our butterfly. The closer you draw your feet towards your body, the more tension it's going to move to the inseam of your upper thighs, your adductors. And the farther away a little bit, it'll wrap around the bottom into the hamstring. So yogi's choice. Find where you need a little bit more. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, the initial tip happens from the pelvis. So we just tip our pelvis forward. Maybe our hands are resting on the legs, on the feet. If you're grabbing onto your feet, resist that urge to pull. And if we spend a lot of time in flexion or rounding our back, it might be a nice idea to keep an uplifted chest here. If you've got any low back, hip, sciatic issues, I would really recommend that you do have your seat elevated and maybe to avoid that deep flexion. If it feels good, do it. If it doesn't, don't. Yeah. But settle on in. Every breath, every inhalation is a reminder. Inspiration to inspire. Every exhalation is a reminder to surrender, to let go. One more breath here at the bottom of this space. You can use your hands for a little bit of support as you roll up or come on up, stacking the shoulders back over the hips, the ears back over your shoulders, continuing to walk your hands back behind, check in with your wrists, your elbows, your shoulders. We'll close our knees, walk the feet a little wide, checking back in with that windshield wipe. Maybe something shifted. Maybe it's subtle, we don't even notice. And then we're going to take our prop with us. So whether you're using a folded up blanket, your block, your bolster, your cushion, whatever you have available. Just make sure it's within reach. As you come on down to your back, you can roll to either side and lay out. Tuck your knees up into your chest. Walk your hips down away from your shoulders. Walk your shoulders down away from your ears. And we'll sweep our arms open like a T. I prefer my palms up. You might like your palms down. So check in again with your shoulders. Feet onto the mat, legs close together, knees still bent. we'll cross our left thigh over top of the right, like we were sitting cross-legged at the table. If that's a bit too much for your hips, you could always come to a figure 4 instead, ankle over the thigh. But before we twist, let's move our hips a little bit to the left. So my left leg is on top. I move the back of my seat a little bit to the left side of the mat. Inhale, if you know that you need more twist, you can tuck your knees up into your chest. And as you exhale, let your legs fall to the right. If you need your prop, you can tuck it under the outer knees. If you need something to lay into, you could turn your head either direction. So we have this twisted roots or our eagle leg twist. But really beginning to breathe into the resistance as we are kind of wringing out the soft tissue of our torso. Helping to release tension through the side waist, the low back, the outer hip. One more full cleansing breath at the bottom of this shape. Inhaling completely. Using the top half of your next exhale to unravel your twist. Moving your hips back in line, unravel your legs. Pause. See what the body's asking for. It might be walking the feet a little wide into constructive rest. It might be coming through a reclined version of that windshield wiping. It might be tucking your knees up tight into your chest or laying your legs out long like Shavasana. So we take a moment in between our holds. We give ourselves a little bit of rebound, a little bit of pause. An opportunity to release. To come back to center. And then we'll prep for that twist on the second side. So walking the legs close together, knees bent. We can cross our right thigh or ankle over top of the left. I would suggest that you move your hips a little bit to the right. Feet can stay on the ground. Otherwise, inhale, knees to chest. Exhale, your legs fall to the left. You may need to support or prop one side and not the other, or differently. If you need something to lay into, feel free. If you turned your head either side the first time through, I suggest that you turn it to the second side here. But settling on in, easing on in little by little. Keeping your body safe, but allowing it to become as passive as possible. One more full breath here. And inhaling, leaning, breathing into the resistance of the twist. Using the top half of your exhale to unravel. Move your hips back in line. Uncross your legs. Take a breath or two to check in, to allow time to receive the feedback from your body, and then give it what it's asking for. The options are the same. It might be constructive rest. You might like a little more movement, windshield wipe, legs out long, or knees tucking in. And then we're going to take our feet back to the mat with the knees bent, but this time our feet and our knees about hip distance or so. You can grab hold of your prop, blanket, bolster, whatever you've got, blocks. We're going to lift the hips up, peeling your tailbone up off the floor first, sliding your prop underneath, and then laying the sacrum right on top, that flat bone in the back of your hips. So we can stay as we are in this supported little bridge, just allowing the abdomen, the front of our body, the hip flexors, our thighs to relax. If you're ready to move on, you can hold on to your prop, especially if you're on something a little bit higher or more narrow like a block. So we tuck our knees up into our chest, make sure that your pelvis is supported, and then you can extend your legs up. So double checking that we're not moving any weight into our neck or the back of our head. So we have a version of legs up the wall here. We can even stay knees tucked in. The legs don't have to go any amount straight. Puts us into a bit of an inversion. So looking to elicit that relaxation response. If you like to point and flex your ankles, draw circles, flare your toes, it's all fair game here. We'll take one more full cycle of breath. If your feet are up in the air, go ahead and tuck your knees back in towards your chest. You can hold onto your prop if that helps you to feel stable. So you take your feet back to the mat. If you're still in this supported bridge, we'll meet you all back here. The last few breaths, really allowing the skin around your sacrum and your low back to relax, to broaden. Using an exhale, lift your hips up just enough to move out your prop. To bring a little bit of stability back into the body as we slowly lower our spine all the way back to the mat. Untucking your pelvis at the bottom when you get there. So we have neutral lumbar low back curve. Dragging your heels out one at a time. Readjusting the shoulders back down away from your ears. Laying yourself out to be as comfortable as possible. I'm going to lead you through the PMR. Many of you have done this with me before, the progressive muscle relaxation. And then I'll leave you on your own to rest. But we'll work our way up our body, starting down at the feet, sending your awareness, even your breath, all the way down to your feet. As you inhale, scrunch up your feet, hold, hold, hold. Exhale, let your feet relax. Let the toes unfurl and the arches soften. On your next inhale, flex your ankles, pull your toes up towards your face, engaging the back of your shins. Exhale, let go. Let the ankles fall open. The muscles of your calves soften, melt and puddle where they meet the floor. Inhaling, working up into the upper thighs, the front, the back, the inner, the outer. Hold tight, tight, tight. Exhale, release. Strong muscles work so hard to hold us upright all day. Let them rest. Imagining heavy leg bones, muscles, soft tissue peeling and melting away. Inhaling down to the bowl of your pelvis, engaging your glutes. Cinch them just a little, hold tight, tight, tight. Exhale to release. You could imagine the hips falling open. Releasing any residual tension. So often we are unconsciously holding, contracting through our pelvis. Release any grip. And that deep sense of relaxation works its way up into the belly, the side waist, and the low back. On your next inhale, you can press the backs of your shoulders into the mat. You might arch and lift the chest a little, squeezing your back. Exhale to soften, to lay back out heavy. Resting and being supported by the strong shelf of your shoulder blades and the earth below. With your arms out to the side, you can tighten up your fists, push your arm bones down into the mat. Big inhale, hold, hold, hold. Exhale to let go. Unfurl the fingers. The arches of the hands soften as if you were holding warm stones in your palms. Even the elbows relax. The outer shoulders melt. Rest heavy. Inhaling, lifting your chin up towards the ceiling, bringing in a little bit of tension to the back of the neck. Exhale, nodding the chin slightly to help elongate the tissue on the back of your neck. Head resting. Inhaling, very gently press the back of your skull into the earth. The chin might tuck a little bit here. Exhale, let it return to neutral and notice how heavy your throat really is. the very, very best part. On your next inhale, scrunch up your face as tightly as you can, sour apple doll face. Hold, hold, hold. Exhale, let it go. Let your jaw fall back. The biting surfaces of your teeth separate. Your lips might slightly part as you continue to breathe in and out through your nose. The brow unfurls, releasing any expression that's been left on your face. The temples melt. Even your eyelids are resting. The body's been put in place. All tension, all stress has been released. Let it go. Every breath sinking a little deeper on every level. Taking these next few moments, as much time as you need to rest back completely. When you feel that you're ready to return, wiggle your fingers and your toes, deepen your breath. Come to either side and take a few breaths when you get there. I will leave you to rest, a nod of thanks and gratitude. Namaste, y'all.